Greetings. This week I wish to speak, following on really from a couple of weeks ago. We started chapter 9 of the Bhagavad Gita, which is called the most confidential knowledge. So this week, and we talked about verse 1, this week I want to talk about verse 2. So to begin with, I'll just chant a couple of mantras. I've got my tambura here, beautiful instrument from India. So I'll sing the mantra to my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. And then I'm going to chant the today's Sanskrit verse. And I'll do it in such a way that you, if you wish, you can try to follow on in repeating each line as I sing. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nirvisesa Samyavadi Paschatya Desatari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. So now today's verse in Sanskrit. I'll sing one line at a time. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam. Okay, first one. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam. Pavityam idam uttamam Pratyaksha vagamam dharmyam Pratyaksha vagamam dharmyam Sushukam kartam avyayam Sushukam kartam avyayam. And Prabhupada's translation. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So I want to begin with reading from a short paragraph of Srila Prabhupada's explanation of this verse. He says, the Bhagavad Gita, especially chapter 2, stresses the importance of the soul. In the very beginning, the Lord says that this body is perishable and that the soul is not perishable. This is a confidential part of knowledge, simply knowing that spirit soul is different from this body and that its nature is immutable, indestructible, and eternal. So that's really the starting point of what Krishna has to teach us in the Bhagavad Gita. To know that my true self is, as Prabhupada says here, immutable, indestructible, and eternal. So indestructible, nothing can destroy my true self. My body, by its very nature, is, as Prabhupada says, perishable. And yet I am not. And in addition to being eternal and indestructible, he says that my true nature is immutable. Immutable means cannot change. So there is an essence of myself which remains always the same. Although superficially I may go through so many changes. Obviously my body goes through continuous change. And sometimes, recently I've been watching some of my devotee friends, my peers of my own age, giving wonderful interviews about their experiences with Srila Prabhupada. And occasionally I really have to do a double take and think, oh my gosh, this person has changed so much. I can't even recognize them from how they were when we were all young men. So the body, of course, is going through constant changes, and we just have to come to terms with that. We can't arrest the changing body. So that's one way that we are mutable. Another is the mind. My mind can change at those things that made me somehow, I was attracted to, that I enjoyed when I was young, I may no longer find attractive, whereas there are other things which I saw no point in at all when I was a young man, but I suddenly now find, oh, actually that's beautiful, that's very interesting. So in this world, both body and mind are constantly changing, yet there is something that does not change, something within myself, my true self. And the more I get to know that unchanging part within myself, the more secure I can be in my existence, because I recognize that although the externals are always changing, there is an inner part of me which exists eternally without change. So now Prabhupada, he says, this is confidential knowledge. To know this, it's really never ceases to surprise me how most people tend to completely disregard this most important part of life, which is that we're eternal. But this is utterly disregarded, and it seems to be hidden from most people to realize that we are eternal. So Prabhupada goes on to say that this knowledge that Krishna has given up until now, he says, however, he has not yet given positive information about the soul. Or, those who understand that my soul is eternal, they need to know more. He goes on. Sometimes people are under the impression that the soul is different from the body, and that when the body is finished, or one is liberated from the body, the soul remains in a void and becomes impersonal. This idea that, when eventually I fulfill my process of spiritual practice, of self-realization, then everything simply will become silent and still. There will be nothing more. So Prabhupada says this is not a fact. How can the soul, which is so active within this body, be inactive after being liberated from the body? The soul is always active. If it is eternal, then it is eternally active. So in the verse that we just chanted, the last line, Krishna says some important things, but anyway, he ends with the line, Susukam kartam avyayam. This to susukam kartam, to practice what I'm teaching you, susukam, it's full of joy and happiness. This world is sukha, dukkha, happiness and pain. These two go side by side in this world. But the spiritual existence is simply sukha. And so here Krishna calls it susukha, complete happiness, by practicing this. And then he says, avyayam. Avyayam means everlasting, never ends. This is what all of us want. We want something that I can do that will bring me happiness and that will not end. So that's what Krishna has to offer us. And he says, Raja Vidya, it is the king of education. This is what I'm going to teach you now, is the highest knowledge. Raja Guhyam, it is the king of secrets. So Krishna already explained that we're not, I am, you are, we are not this temporary body. And Prabhupada said that's already confidential. But this is more confidential, so he calls it Raja Guhyam. Pavitram idam uttamam, the highest, rarest secret, the true secret of life. Pavitram, which will cleanse, which will purify. And we are all caught up in this endless sort of net of karma. And again, I want to share something with you from Prabhupada's explanation. He explains this net of karma. He says this is spoken about in the Padma Purana, one of the ancient Vedic scriptures. And there it is said that those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reactions. For example, when the seed of a particular tree is sown, the tree does not appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. It is first a small, sprouting plant. Then it assumes the form of a tree, then it flowers, bears fruit, and when it is complete, the flowers and fruits are enjoyed by persons who have sown the seed of the tree. Similarly, a person performs a sinful act, and like a seed, it takes time to fructify. So we don't know, the things we're experiencing now, in the present cycle of my life. I don't know where the seeds or when they were planted, because the seed takes time to fructify. So there are some seeds that are in the process of fructifying. There are some that are dormant. There are some that are actually producing fruit. The things I'm enjoying or maybe suffering now. And also, I may be enjoying something now But eventually another seed will come. When the fruit is ripened and the fruit is tasted, or when it falls from the tree, more seeds are created. So there's this endless chain of karma, both good and bad, is surrounding us in this world. However, Krishna says, pavitram, by practicing this, what I'm teaching you, everything will be cleansed in a very short time. The weight of karma will be dispersed. This is the power of devotional service. So Prabhupada says, for those engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Lord, all sinful reactions, whether fructified in the stalk or in the form of a seed, gradually vanish. That's the power of devotional service. It's so, and Krishna goes on to say, Pratyaksha Vagamam means, Pratyaksha means direct experience. There are different ways to learn. One is simply by hearing, but another is Pratyaksha, which is to experience. So Krishna is emphasizing throughout the Gita, actually, that spiritual life is not simply a matter of withdrawing from the world and being silent, but it is to engage whatever I have been given, use this physical body in doing service for Krishna, watering the root of the tree, and this is called, and this brings deeper realization than simply book learning. Putting it into practice, and the simplest ways are to chant the names of Krishna, to hear about Krishna, and to remember Krishna, chanting, hearing, remembering. But also down to very practical things like, the food I cook. I can offer that food to Krishna, and so on. I can organize my whole life around the divine service of the Lord, and whether I am able or not to find the company of, if I can, look for the company of sadhu sangha, the company of those who are on the spiritual path. But if I can't find those, for whatever reason, then I can still have this practical daily experience on the very simplest of levels of working in my garden, preparing food to offer to Krishna, offering Krishna incense and a flower, having a beautiful I have my altar here, have an altar, pictures of Krishna, where you can make offerings, simple things, and the process will bring, Krishna says, susukha, great happiness, which never needs to end. So, I'll finish there. I can recommend, if any of you have a copy of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, then if you turn to the beginning of chapter 9, you can read, he has written a long 5-page explanation of this important verse. So, to end, let's just sing the verse once more. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam, Pavitramidam Muktam, Pavitramidam Muktam, Pratyaksha Vagamam Dhamyam, Pratyaksha Bhagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartam Avyayam Susukham Kartam Avyayam. This secret is the summit of education, the innermost secret, the supreme purifier and the perfection of religion. It can be learned by direct experience, is easily and joyfully practiced and lasts forever.